Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 60 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
I'm Sarah.
And this episode is sponsored by Kendra Walsh. So thank you, Kendra.
Thank you.
Today we will be discussing chapter 18 of... Go ahead.
I was just moving my water, but
I need you... Oh, there it is. Of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs.
Yeah.
So make sure that you've read the chapter and you're ready to maybe backflip into the details before we begin.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
We're just freshening up just a smidge.
Yeah.
A little variation. So let's go into some weekly profit news. I'm just looking at the website, like little, what do you call that? Like a name, title, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a verbal thumbnail.
A verbal thumbnail.
Oh my God.
Thumbnail.
Hold on. Aren't
it's
thumbnails
a-
usually verbal?
It's a verbal thumbnail.
No, they're a picture.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. So the weekly profit of this week is that Dan Radcliffe is returning to Broadway. And I actually...
Woo! Is he going to be
Closed.
Harry?
in the nude?
Oh.
He was gonna be closed.
I don't think so this time. Unfortunately, we missed our chance when he was in Equus.
We're okay.
This was actually announced a while ago, and I missed it, and I'm bummed that I missed it.
That's okay. You're getting
But
paid now.
it hasn't started yet. Actually, it will have been started for 3 days by the time this episode comes out.
Oh.
But he is going to be on Broadway in the world premiere of The Lifespan of a Fact. It's a play that follows the controversy surrounding John DeGatta's essay about the suicide of a Las Vegas teen.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be a limited run that will begin on September 20th. And it says it's going to end on October 18th, but I feel like it's actually going to be longer than that.
That's really short.
Because I looked at getting tickets for it for when we are in New York, and I guess maybe Dan's run could be limited,
Oh, yeah.
possibly, but tickets were still available for November. But so I'm not sure, but
That's weird. Why
Yeah.
would you only do it for that short amount of time?
because Dan is short.
I guess whenever he is short, but usually sometimes whenever there's famous people doing roles, I know whenever Katie and I are over in London on the West End, Orlando Bloom is doing something on the West End, but he's literally only doing it for 2 performances.
Isn't Ian McKellen doing
Ian
something?
McKellen is on a play in the West End too, but that's a much longer stint. He's in it for a while, but we're taking 2 nights to see Cursed Child, so we're not doing another night on the West End. But
Yeah,
I looked
that would
at
be a
it.
lot.
But sometimes it's just shorter runs when it's famous people.
Weird.
Yeah,
I don't know show biz, I guess.
but
don't
he's
know the
gonna
lingo.
play the character Fingal.
Bingo. Sounds like Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Tickets are for sale now, though. The cheapest are $100 in case anyone's curious, because I looked at it.
Jeez.
Although there was some flash sale going on, they made them $69. That's probably not going on when this comes out, but maybe they'll
Yeah,
do
I
it
don't
again.
know.
Yeah,
maybe.
you never know.
Yep.
I don't know, though. I feel like they wouldn't have that hard of a time selling tickets for it.
Yeah. It's Harry Potter.
Well,
I mean, wow. It's the guy that plays him. It's based on a true story, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, a fact checker.
yeah.
And then, whatever he's fact checking, a lot of it's not facts.
Interesting. All right. So that was short and sweet. Let's bring it to the recap.
Yeah. All right. So last time the trio could not believe that Buckbeak had been chopped.
Like the show, Chopped.
Yes.
You've been chopped.
His
He did
dish
not
was
make the
not
cut.
good enough.
Who's dish?
They did not like his ferret puree.
Oh,
Minced ferret a la mode. I don't know.
Gross. And episode title, that was quick and easy. As they were making their way back to the castle, Scabbers started freaking out and escaped from Ron. And we soon find out why. That giant black shaggy dog that's been lurking around Harry comes bounding out of nowhere. He grabs Ron and drags him under the whomping willow. Harry and Hermione follow him with the help of Crookshanks and discover that's not a dog at all. It's Sirius Black. Remus
God
finds
dong it. I mean, doggone it.
my God.
Camp Peebles.
We tried.
Yeah.
Did I do that one right?
Watermelon. So Remus finds his way to the shack, and we find out he's been having a howling good time all year, really all his life. If that isn't enough to blow your mind, guess what? Scabbers ain't a rat.
He ain't.
Nope, he ain't.
He's not a mouse neither.
Nope.
Ugh, horrible.
Or a gerbil.
Okay, so everyone is
Or
on
guinea
the
pig.
edge of their seats. Sirius wants to kill Peter. Ron is still adamant that it's not Peter, it's Scabbers. Lupin urges Sirius to wait because they all deserve to hear the whole story. And so he begins to tell the trio about their days at Hogwarts and the Marauders' adventure, and even an event that dealt with Snapey Snape. Then, instead of a hidden Mickey, we have a hidden Snape under the invisibility cloak with a wand aimed at Lupin.
Well done.
Can we please just look for hidden Snapeys out in the world forever?
Where you see a hidden Snapey Snape. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, there was a hidden Snape on that cat.
I'm going to post it. I'm going to put a note right now to post that.
Oh,
Literally Snape's face in their fur.
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Is its name Snape?
Hidden Snapey Snape. I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay, noted.
All right.
Post hidden Snape cat picture.
All right. So let's start by taking our initial reactions. If you remember them from your first read, when you read the last sentence from the previous chapter, and Animagus said black by the name of Peter Pettigrew. What did you think? Do you guys remember?
I just remember, and I say it all the time, this is the book that made me fall in love forever with Harry Potter. Like, solidified everything because of these end chapters.
Yes, these last couple chapters are what blew my mind and made Harry Potter like come full circle to me. I feel like this is the first time that she really throws something in there that totally just changes everything. You know, I mean, like the ending of Sorcerers, yeah, she threw in the whole like Quirrell and Snape thing, but I don't think that was
Quirrell
as big
and
as
Snape
this.
thing?
Yeah, how like they thought it was Snape who was getting the Sorcerer's Stone, but then it
Okay.
was Quirrell, and it's like kind of like whatever, you know, like Quirrell's not. You didn't have any attachment to him at all,
Yeah.
but like this is the Marauders, and like Lupin building you up to like the Marauders map and like learning about the history of Harry's dad and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
this to me was bigger than that. Like
Yeah.
this was the first big moment where it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
And I just remember being shocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait,
But,
what?
and like you said, I think in the last episode, you're like, these last chapters, like as soon as you finish that chapter, like you're finishing this book that day.
Yeah, you have to keep
You
going.
can't stop.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think
unless
that-
you have super self-control, because I
Right.
don't.
No, and like I feel like with the other books, there was no real chapter that was like that like this. Like the ending
Yeah.
of this book, I flew through this book because once you get to chapter like what, 17, 16, what are we on?
I don't know.
18?
18.
Yeah, like once you get to 16, 17, it's like, okay, I'm finishing this book today. Like I
Yeah.
just and I've never had that happen with a book before.
Yeah, I remember I just kept reading. Katie, what did you?
I just had to keep reading. I mean, it was just like when they announced it was Sirius who was there, and then like you get to this shack and like
So much happening at
you
one
think
time.
one thing, and now all of a sudden everything that you've thought this entire book is now changing.
It was
So now
wrong.
I need to
Because
know
you're like,
why.
wait.
Yeah.
Because as
Yeah.
soon as you hear that, you're like, hold on.
He's
so
dead.
Sirius is innocent?
Right.
And like it just makes you, because you've had this in your mind that Sirius is this horrible person the whole
you've hated
entire
him.
book. Yeah. And
Yeah,
now
you've
you're like,
hated him the whole
wait,
time.
he was framed? What? And it just, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Sarah?
Joe's a queen.
I probably was along with Ron and didn't really believe it until I finished the book. Like,
Okay.
I'm like, because you don't know, things could still get even crazier.
That's true. That's
So.
true. I'm the type of reader where I just go where the author takes me. 'Cause
So
I'm-
am I.
I just
Like,
believe
I
what she
just-
says. And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm
I
supposed
fall
to be
for their
thinking.
traps.
Oh, see, I'm like typically like the one person, like if I,
She's a
as we know,
Ravenclaw.
that I typically read the end of books. I don't always do it. So there are times like if I don't read the end and I will try to guess. So then at
So
the
it's like
end
a
I can
game.
be like, yes.
Yeah.
If I got it correct, especially like mystery ones.
Are you always like suspicious so you don't really trust your author?
It depends. I mean, it also depends on if I know my author. Like,
True.
gosh, who wrote?
Well, Like Joe had been known to change things in the previous book.
So like, but there's like people that they write a certain way. My Sister's Keeper, I can't remember who wrote that.
yes.
But she writes very similar. Like there's always a major twist at the end of it.
Okay.
So like My Sister's Keeper, like the book was going one way and the end, like the movie and the book are completely different and the ending.
Okay.
So the whole thing was like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
So like reading another book of hers, I would know that
Something's
something's gonna,
coming up.
yeah.
So the first book you read of her is like a true first reaction. And then the others, you're like, I'm suspicious now.
Is that like Nicholas Sparks, where someone?
Yeah.
usually
Oh my
always
God,
dies?
yeah.
Kristen
Everybody.
Hanna. Have you ever read Kristen Hanna? She's kind of the same way.
I've never read Nicholas Sparks. I've only seen
Someone
a couple
dies
of
in every book, I
movies.
swear.
But I do know that of
My favorite
the
Nicholas off topic, The Last Song, if you're going to read one. That's a good one.
I really liked
And The Notebook. And A Walk to Remember.
A Walk to Remember was a good book.
Yeah.
They're
Like, I've
just
read
not
many
my
of his.
kind, you know.
Kristen Hanna's great, though, as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
Jodi Picoult.
Oh.
That's who wrote
Yeah,
it.
yeah. My Sister's Keeper.
Yeah. So she writes a lot of books
That was
like
a
that.
good
I'm sure we
That
had
was
listeners like screaming at their cars, and they're like,
I always
"Yeah."
figure it out.
All right, so
We got there, guys. We got there.
yes. Now that we heard our reactions, let's go to the trio. Quote, "It took a few seconds for the absurdity of this statement to sink in. Then Ron voiced what Harry was thinking. You're both mental. Ridiculous," said Hermione faintly. "Peter Pettigrew's dead," said Harry. "He killed him 12 years ago." He pointed at Black, whose face twitched convulsively. Ooh, he's mad.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I probably have more reading. So Sirius bared his yellow teeth when telling them that he meant to kill Peter. And then he threw Crookshanks onto the floor. Why are you throwing your friend? And then lunged at Scabbers, who was still with Ron, and he landed on him, causing Ron to yell out in pain. Ouch. Because remember, his leg is broken. Yeah. His arm is also bit.
Yeah.
He's having a rough time.
In the
Yeah.
movie, his leg is bitten. And
Yes.
I don't think his leg actually breaks per se.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's bit.
mauled from the bite.
Yeah. But
I forgot that he got dragged by his arm actually
Yeah, so did I.
until I read this again.
he got bit. Then the leg broke on the tree root when he was trying to keep himself from going into the willow. Lupin launches himself forward and drags Sirius back from him because they have to explain, right? Harry needs to know the reasons for what they are doing, and Sirius was still trying to claw his way to get to Scabbers.
Thank God he's a rat and he's easy to contain pretty much.
Yeah. Otherwise, this could have been.
Otherwise, Lupin, I would have been like, shut up, dude. We got to do it. He's going to get away.
He does anyway.
Well,
Oh, that's a big spoiler. Anyway,
people know.
Spoiler alert, he dies too.
Hold on,
Actually,
really quick.
everybody in that room's going to be dead except for the three youngest ones,
Yeah.
Yep, you are correct.
including the guy hiding under the cloak, whatever the hell it is.
The invisibility cape. What were we gonna say?
I don't remember.
cool. Sorry. Oh, I hear my daughter. All right. You owe Harry the truth, Sirius. Black doesn't care. Sorry. That was weird because it was like Sirius and then I wrote Black. So Sirius Black. He doesn't care and he just wants to commit the murder that he was put in Azkaban for. So we find out here, like, this is a lot of information, especially for things learned and discussed in 7. With the Secret Keeper and all of that jazz. And I don't know. Do you guys kind of wish that, like, he would have killed Pettigrew just then? Or do you think everything should have happened the way it did?
I think
It's hard.
It happens the way it's supposed to happen, but I would have loved him to be dead. But
Right.
at the same time,
It's
you
hard,
could think
but
about
then-
that way back if they had kept it, the Secret Keepers, like they were supposed to. Harry Potter's parents wouldn't be dead, and Voldemort might have, rained on.
Also, like, Sirius could have gone to Azkaban for good reason then, I mean, like, he could have gone and not had a chance to get out, where at least now, now I know he doesn't get out legally or,
Right.
Nobody ever knows he's really innocent, but he is able to be out of Azkaban, be with friends, be with family, until he dies.
Sad.
So,
Very sad.
which that wouldn't have happened had he killed Peter, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously that would have changed everything.
Do you think, like, if you believe that, like, Sirius could, like, watch over Harry and all of that, and the way that Wormtail actually dies, do you think that he was like, yeah, that's a good way for him to go?
Probably.
Yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think?
I don't know what you asked.
Like, if you think, like, Sirius can, like, watch over Harry, you know, after his death and stuff, and then he's, like, can, like, see the way that Wormtail actually died, do you think that he would think that that's
He
a
was
death that
satisfied
suits that
with
guy?
that.
No, because I think the only way that Sirius would be satisfied is if he killed Peter himself. If I'm
I
being
can see
honest.
that too.
I can see that, but I'm just thinking, like, he does
Well,
get a death that is deserved.
Well,
to
Harry
him.
tries to stop it, too. You have to
If
think
I
he
was
tried
Sirius, I
to
would have been
pull...
like, Harry, leave him be.
He tried to pull
Walk away.
the hand away.
Yeah, he does.
Ooh.
Well, Harry's a good man
That he is.
until he's a dad.
Anyways, so Ron says, y'all are nutters, and he tries to move, but dude, your leg's broken, right? He's like, I love that about him because he's still a Gryffindor and he's still trying to make things happen, even though his leg is broken.
Ron is super Gryffindor.
Yeah. And he's getting really annoyed with Lupin in Black, calling Scabbers Peter, and he's trying to force the rat back into his pocket. So I wanted to pull up an article. It's called Behind the Scenes, Peter Pettigrew. It's on Pottermore. And it says, embodying a man who has lived as a rat for 13 years is no mean feat. No stranger to taking on parts that are little on the glamorous side, however. Timothy Spall, who is the actor who plays Peter Pettigrew.
He's such a rat-looking guy.
He really is
feels
just
so
perfect.
bad.
for
But
the
everything
role.
he's in, I'm like, ugh. He
Yeah.
just look like a rat.
Yeah. He took the task with great gusto and with eerily convincing results. It says, Peter Pettigrew is a very shrewd, cowardly, weak, conniving, audacious, lying little character that is always ready to save his own skin. Apart from that, he's very nice and rather handsome, says Timothy Spall, who plays the human form of the rat known as Wormtail to the Marauders and Scabbers to the Weasley family. This is a man who has been a rat for the last 13 years, explains the Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban director Alfonso Cuarón. And and so he still has to behave and look like a rat. And so there's a really cool image on there about the 5 stages of rat to human, and it kind of goes through like his transformation. And I absolutely adore the human sketch.
I want to look at it.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I like the stage after rat.
I love looking at.
The stage after rat is kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. It's cool to see the different levels of like transforming. He does look pretty accurate,
Yeah.
Timothy.
I know. So if you go through there, you can see, or you can read a lot about like what it takes to be the rat. And then there's a last image, or not a last image. The second to last image is from Deathly Hallows Part 2, and he's got the silver hand. Looks like he's still in, there you go, in those clothes from 3. Like, why didn't you get any new clothes? But that's neither here
Voldemort
nor
has
there.
other things to worry about.
I guess, but if you're raiding all those shops in Diagon Alley, you might as well
True.
pick up some new
Get some robes.
right? Anyways, so Harry wants to get the story, so he pushes Ron back down onto the bed and gives his attention to Lupin. Harry's not buying anything without proof, and I feel like that's the smart thing to do because a lot of the time he doesn't need the proof. He goes with whatever his gut says.
Yes, very trusting sometimes.
Yeah, and so I really like this, that he's wanting to hear the story. And really, who wouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
So a whole street full of people saw Sirius murder Peter, but Black butts in, and he says that those people didn't see what they thought they saw. Muggles.
They
Which
don't
of
see
course
nothing,
though
do they?
is
There
like,
it is.
honestly though, that's like the typical response of a murderer or like someone who committed a crime, right? I think. Like, oh, well, they didn't really see what they thought they saw. Like, okay.
Right.
All these people saw the wrong thing. But he's not lying.
Nope.
That's true.
He's correct.
Yeah, it's true.
But that would still make me, like, as Harry, that wouldn't be enough.
yeah. So Lupin tells them that he was under that same impression too until he saw Peter on the map, and the map never lies. And so
He would know.
he's like, Peter's alive, Ron's holding him, Harry. And this was what Lupin says to him. And so I wanted to read Harry's thoughts. It says, Harry looked down at Ron and their eyes met. They agreed silently. Black and Lupin were both out of their minds. Their story made no sense whatsoever. How could Scabbers be Peter Pettigrew? Azkaban must have unhinged Black after all. But why was Lupin playing along with him? It is a hard story to believe if think about
Looking
who,
at it on the outside.
but think about who he heard that story from. People who he, respects and trusts.
Yeah.
So how could they be wrong? And Hermione's the first to speak out of all of this because the theory that Peter was an animagus, people would know because of the registry. And she says, because people would know if Peter Pettigrew had been an animagus. We all did animagi in class with Professor McGonagall, and I looked them up when I did my homework. The Ministry of Magic keeps tabs on witches and wizards who can become animals. There's a register showing what animal they become and their markings and things. I went and looked Professor McGonagall up on the register, and there have been only 7 animagi this century, and Pettigrew's name wasn't on the list. So Harry takes a moment, and I love this, to marvel at the effort that Hermione put into her homework.
Yeah.
Lupin laughs at the genius of Hermione, and he says, right again, but this time she was missing one key piece of information. The Ministry didn't know that there were 3 illegal and unregistered animagi running around Hogwarts.
We actually know of 4, right? Because of Rita.
Oh, yeah. Rita Skeeter.
Yep. We learn about her soon. All right. So there's a cool article on Pottermore about the Wizarding World and illegal animagi. It does say
Magi?
Mage,
I don't know.
animagi.
Sure.
I think both sound cool. It's like tomato.
So it says here, as Tiffany just said, Professor McGonagall is one of just 7 that are registered in the last century. Hermione tells us that the Ministry's improper use of magic office keep close tabs on wizards with this ability.
Interesting.
Mostly because look at what Sirius was able to do as an animagus, right? I mean, he could escape Azkaban because...
What department does that? Like, that's a lot of work to... Like, what if you're just like a regular person and you just want to be an animagus, right? And somebody's got to keep tabs on you?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like the Trace where like they know every time you transform?
I would hope so. Otherwise, they're like skulking and stuff all the time.
I think that probably when it says they keep tabs on you, it just means like if you get in trouble, they know it's you.
What if you have to like go in every few months and be like, hi, I'm here, transformed. These are my markings still. I wonder if you
Maybe.
can change. Like, could Sirius change his fur color if he wanted to?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No?
I wouldn't think so.
I think in my section it says something about how because so many things can go wrong as well,
Yeah.
that's another reason they keep close tabs on it.
Yeah. So it says the ability to transform into animals was sometimes a scary business, though. A near riot was caused by a group of 14-year-olds from the Ugandan Wizarding School, Wagadoo, at the International Symposium of Animagi. Their synchronized transformation into elephants and cheetahs intimidated some of the older and more experienced witches and wizards.
What if you became an elephant? That's amazing.
You can't be inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how much could you really do with that, though? You know,
What if the first time you did it, you're like in this small room and then
I feel like though, if you think about it, so like they're from Uganda, so it would make sense and fit in that area more so that they
Right.
turn into those types of animals. And I would think that you turn into something that matches where you're from.
maybe
I would think because I mean, you can't live in Africa and turn into something that doesn't thrive in that environment, you know?
Like a whale.
Right. No. I mean, honestly, though, because, like, what if you live in Hawaii or one of the islands or something? You could potentially turn into a fish of some sort because it would make sense that you're close to water.
Yeah, but what if you want to, like, chill out on land and then you're like a fish?
Sucks to suck.
I mean, I think you wouldn't die in your animagus form just because you weren't in water.
You're just going to, like, flop.
You have to be like
To get to
SpongeBob.
places.
Put a bowl over
I need it.
So, a little background on illegal animaguses that we know of, which would be James, Sirius, and Peter. They worked for 3 years to become animagi. I'm having real trouble with this. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I keep changing it. And they did this to keep Remus company during the full moon because he was dangerous to humans, but not other animals. Mm-hmm. So James was a stag, Sirius was a dog, and Peter is a rat, as we know. So Sirius tells Lupin to hurry up with telling the story about how Peter is an animagus. So they hear a creak in the hallway, but Lupin goes out to check and doesn't see anybody and says that there's nobody there, but this is when Snape enters in the invisibility cloak.
So he hears everything
So
from
he's
now
hearing
on.
this whole thing.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just to like put into perspective so that you guys can understand. Starting now, Snape is listening. So Ron says that the place is haunted, but Lupin explains, no, it's actually not. The reason why people thought that it was haunted is because the Shrieking Shack was built for him to transform. The screams and howls heard from the building by the villagers were actually Remus. During his transformations, obviously.
This hurts my soul.
So here, he already blames himself for this entire situation. He says, none of this would have happened had he not become a werewolf, which I think is sad. Because, I mean, I guess, if you really want to take it back that far, like, yeah, possibly. But you still could have become friends with these people.
Yeah.
Peter still could have betrayed them.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to get away like he did because he probably wouldn't have become an animagus. Yes.
Only Remus could put this on his shoulders.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Literally what this means
He
is
literally
is
tries to
putting-
carry the world on his shoulders.
He's putting James and Lily's death on himself. He's putting Sirius being framed on himself. And he's putting Peter's bad behavior on himself.
Dumbledore also does that too.
He does.
He does. You're right.
He's guilty for a lot of it,
Yeah.
but he does put everything on him there at the end.
He does. You're right.
Yeah. I think they're just, I mean,
That just shows good characters.
agreed.
So.
They just have good hearts. You know?
Yeah.
So we discussed this in length in our Remus episodes, but from what it says in the book, I'll tell you a little bit about how Remus became a werewolf. So he was very small when he was bit. His parents tried everything, but there was no cure. And the potion that Snape has been making for him is a very recent discovery, and it keeps him safe. As long as he takes it the week before the full moon, he can keep his mind when he transforms. So he doesn't fully turn into a werewolf. He looks like one on the outside, but it's Remus on the inside, which is huge, obviously, because then he doesn't hurt himself. He's not going to go out and attack humans.
He doesn't have that urge to kill or destroy.
He literally just curls up in his office, a harmless wolf, and waits for the moon to wane again.
I kind of want to, I love that term, like a harmless wolf. I want to snuggle like a Fozzie bear.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's Fozzie when he's like curled as tight in the balls he can get.
Yeah.
I want to cuddle it.
So he says, before the Wolfsbane potion was discovered, he did become a fully fledged monster once a month, and it seemed impossible that he would ever be able to come to Hogwarts. Other parents didn't want their children to be exposed to him, but then Dumbledore became headmaster, and he was sympathetic towards Remus. So they took precautions for him, or Dumbledore did. So he says to Harry, I told you months ago that the Whomping Willow was planted the year I came to Hogwarts, but the truth is it was planted because I came to Hogwarts. This house, the tunnel that leads to it, they were all built for me. Once a month, he was smuggled out of the castle into the Shrieking Shack to transform. The tree was placed at the tunnel to stop anyone from coming across me while I was dangerous.
Oops, sorry.
So that's okay. So Harry is taking all of this in because, like, obviously he's found out now already that Lupin is a werewolf, but now he's getting more of the backstory on it. Like, and I hope that Ron is listening closely to this story too, so that he can understand that Remus isn't a monster. He's not something to be scared of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Dumbledore taking him in and being so accepting, I think this is headcanon, but what I think has a lot to do with that is Ariana, or Ariana, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
His sister, being who she was and how she was treated.
Yeah, she was definitely an outcast.
I think it made him super sympathetic and empathetic toward people who were maybe not so much accepted by the wizarding community. It made him... He has a soft spot for those people, I think.
I like that a lot.
Because, like, when Dumbledore talks about for the greater good, he means it differently than Grindelwald meant it. They both said for
Not
the
at
greater
first.
good.
Not at first.
No, I think he kind of did.
No. He was with him. He didn't want to get it the way that Grindelwald wanted to get it. But I believe this is true, that he was like, it was for the Muggles' own good.
Right.
Right? He wanted to do it a different
way. He was thinking
way.
about it in a different perspective.
Yes. But he still wanted wizards to be over.
Superior.
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right. If I'm wrong, call me on it.
It's been a while since I read.
I was right about the wolfish glory.
You were.
Oh, yeah. Someone found that for you. That was awesome.
So Harry, in his mind, is saying that he could see where the story was going, but he was listening raptly all the same. The only sound apart from Lupin's voice was Scabbers' frightened squeaking.
Yeah, I bet you're scared.
As you can tell, Peter's getting more scared and more scared because, like, the truth is finally coming out. This whole huge story.
Lightning bolt round. What do you think he's squeaking in those words?
Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Oh, no.
I think it's a lot of curse words.
A lot of swears.
You want me a Coke? Yes, for the first time.
There are Cokes upstairs. If you would like to borrow, then owe me. It's like I'm a loan shark.
So Lupin explains that his transformations back in those days were terrible. It was very painful for him. He was separated from humans so that he couldn't bite them. So because of that, he just bit and scratched himself, which I think is why they had to have Madame Pomfrey know, because she had to help him after the moon.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
So villagers always said that it must have been particularly violent spirits in that house because it was screaming that they would hear.
I wonder if the Bloody Baron was ever like, I'm going to go there, and then got chickened out.
Probably.
Nope, never mind.
But Dumbledore encouraged that rumor because he wanted, villagers to not approach it.
It's like haunted houses, like around Halloween time. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, that did happen in a haunted house one time, when it's just they come up with it themselves.
This line hurts my heart, though, because Lupin says, but apart from my transformations, I was happier than I had ever been in my life. For the first time ever, I had friends, 3 great friends, Sirius Black, Peter Pettigrew, and of course your father, Harry, James Potter.
Oof. My heart.
Suck it, Peter.
Peter.
Right.
All right. So he continues on with this story. So James.
Katie, I'm looking
What?
at your part.
What?
You thrive in this book.
All this book for
It
what?
took her a long time to do her notes.
I can tell.
Leave me alone, okay?
No, I'm loving it. It's good.
So James, Sirius, and Peter couldn't help but notice that Remus was disappearing once a month. I think if you're best friends with somebody, you would kind of like catch on to that pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah.
So he would make up all sorts of stories. Like
I think Remus is pretty naive to think that nobody would catch on to it, especially if he made friends.
I think it's just wishful thinking.
I wonder if other people did. Like, I mean, you're there for 7 years, and you're only gone for 3 or 4 months out of the year. So every other, that's a lot of transformations. So someone not to catch on. Like he goes away every month. You know what I mean?
How long is he away? Just
I would guess that it might be 2
night or
days a
two?
month because
Yeah.
he's got to have like a recovery day after.
But they can go home, right? At any time, can they? On the weekends and stuff? Like if it lands on a weekend or whatever?
I'm sure you could.
Maybe.
See why anybody would stop you.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like side-along apparition, like if you go to Hogsmeade and your parents are like there and then they're like, let's go. Because like
yeah.
life is lived outside of Hogwarts. You know,
No,
what if
it's not.
somebody's getting married or a funeral or something, you know?
Or like teachers. I always wonder, I'm like, does every single teacher live in the castle? They can't. I would think some have their own lives with families, and
I don't know.
it's weird.
I don't know. Yeah, because how do you have a family?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to have your 2-year-old running around the I mean, maybe, I guess. But
There's a little nursery where the house elves take care of babies during the day.
Oh my gosh, yes!
cute.
They're like
Daycare.
changing diapers.
Headcanon.
Yep.
Accepted.
Done.
Oh, God. So he comes up with all these stories like, oh, my mom's sick. I have to go home and see her, because he was absolutely terrified if they found out they're going to desert him. And these are his only friends he's ever had. He finally has friends. He finally feels like he belongs, like he can't lose them.
Yeah.
But of course, they did find out the truth, as we know, and they didn't desert him at all. Quote, they did something for me that would make my transformations not only bearable, but the best times of my life. They became animagi. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
We don't know.
So Harry's like astounded. He's like, my dad too? So it took the best part of 3 years for them to work it out. James and Sirius were the cleverest students in school, which is a good thing because...
They remind me of Fred and George. They've got to be
Yes.
clever, but they don't have to put a lot of effort into their schoolwork, but they do well.
Yeah.
Well, like Hagrid said, Fred and George would give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing that they were so smart, because animagus transformations can go terribly wrong, which is, like I said, is another reason the Ministry keeps such a close watch on those people attempting it.
I would want to learn how to do it. I know.
I would,
well-
but I don't know. That's a lot of...
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So Peter needed all the help he could get from James and Sirius, and they finally managed to do it in their 5th year. So I did cover this in an earlier episode, but I didn't do a good job of it. So
Okay.
I'm going to do a proper job of it this time.
But she's like, I just didn't do a good job. I need to do it again.
I just need to do it again.
Do it again.
So Joe did release How to Become an Animagus. And I guess the whole story is in a short story called Hogwarts of Power, Politics, and Pesky Poltergeists, which I think you can get off
There's one of those
Audible.
ebooks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the ebooks.
Yeah.
We have it. You can read it if you'd like.
Oh, well.
So the thing is like, I enjoy ebooks. Yes. I read them. I use them for this podcast.
I want
Give
a
it
real
to
one.
me.
Yes.
For real, I want to hold it.
Yes.
I want it on my shelf.
I agree. So these are the steps. There are 5 steps that we know of, the bulk of it. So step 1, you have to hold a mandrake leaf in your mouth for a full month. You can't take it out when you eat. You can't take it out when you sleep. And if it comes out or you swallow it, you've got to start over.
Who's the chicken Charlie in the chocolate factory with the gum?
Violet Beauregard.
Does she like tuck it up like when she eats or anything like that?
No, she puts it behind her ear.
Oh, darn.
There.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
So after that, at the next visible full moon, that's very important, you must put the spit-soaked leaf in a vial within range of the moon's pure rays. So if the moon is hiding behind clouds or it's not directly visible, you have to start all over with another month of sucking on a mandrake leaf.
Sucking on it.
So you're making a potion, essentially. So it also needs other ingredients, including dew that hasn't been exposed to sunlight or human feet for a full 7 days.
Dang.
So it's speculated that maybe you have to collect this like beforehand. That might be helpful, so you have that in stock. So if you get that far, you have to make sure your potion's hidden out of sunlight, 'cause sunlight is very bad for it. And after that, you have to wait, possibly for a while, because you can't take the potion until a lightning storm strikes.
Interesting. Do you think that sunlight's bad for it because you're like, it's like hiding you, and like you need to be like in the
That's
dark,
good, yeah,
you know,
in the
I like
shadows.
that.
Yeah.
So every day you're waiting for that storm to come. At sunrise and sunset, you have to say Amato, Animo, Animato, Animagus. So that can go on for days, weeks, or months.
I would try and line it up with summer.
So that's like the bulk of it. The rest involves preparing to transform, drinking the potion you're making, and repeating that incantation. So Joe's detailed instructions includes the warning, don't panic. Keep on keeping on. So Harry asks, well, how did this help you, them becoming Animagus? Animagi?
We're not going to get off of this.
So Remus is like, they couldn't keep me company as humans, but they could keep me company as animals because, like Meg said, a werewolf is only a danger to people. Yes.
So on our Remus Felix files, we talked a little bit about like if you can remember during your transformation. I would think that this proves that you probably can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because we did speculate on that.
I wonder, though, like,
Is it just flashes or is it like full memory?
or if it's like once you're like in that role for a while, like, because I would assume that when you first transform, you're probably like freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if that has anything to do with it, or if you always remember. Because if you think about like people like biting other people, and then like you
have to
transform,
remember that and like
yeah,
you couldn't stop it from happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yep.
But it has to be somewhat clear because this is why, I mean, he knows just as much about the grounds as the other three.
Yeah.
So he has to remember some of it.
Yeah,
Most of it.
No, I think you remember.
Yeah.
Well, I think they also, like, once they made the map, also went around as themselves, not
Probably, yeah.
transformed.
Probably.
It's all the sights of Hogwarts.
Saw the sights. I would like to see the sights of Hogwarts.
Same.
So every full moon, James, Sirius, and Peter would sneak out of the castle under the invisibility cloak and would transform. Peter, being the smallest, would press the knot on the Whomping Willow, and they would slip under the tunnel and join him at the Shrieking Shack.
I love how all of them transformed into like the perfect things.
That don't look weird on the grounds.
Not only that, not only that, but also like there was one that was small enough to be able to to push the knot.
Yeah.
And then like Sirius was similar to Remus in being like a dog, but then James was big enough where he could kind of keep up with them, but he was different. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just
Do you
like the
think-
perfect combination of animals.
Do you think they like match their personalities?
Possibly.
Sirius is definitely doggish,
You just have to think about that. Like,
and Peter is a rat.
And,
Peter's
like,
a rat.
stags are pretty proud,
but like
Yeah.
proud and like
majestic.
still rough and tumble though with those antlers, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think they match their personalities pretty well.
Yeah.
I would hope that I would change into a dog. That's what I'm just.
But, like, how big would he have been as a stag to fit in the tunnel under the tree if they had to be bent over almost in half?
Yeah, how would he get in there?
He would just have to get through the hole and then transform back. But the branches are done, so maybe they transformed back into people right before they went in.
Yeah, but, like, what if Remus
I don't
is
know.
there?
Well, think about what they're doing anyway. They're
I mean, they're
daredevil
already
kids.
doing something ridiculously dangerous. What is that to them?
I don't know, but that's a really good point.
Yeah, you can't fit in there. There's no way.
No.
With those antlers.
I guess it depends how big his antlers are, though, too.
Do you think
But,
they
like-
grew as he grew? Did he have little nubs at
Probably.
first?
Oh my gosh!
But I would think that, like, a stag would still be massive anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if he's transformed
think
into a
about
full size, like an adult
He would
version,
probably just have to put his
Mm-hmm.
head down because if you're standing next to a deer, like you're probably as tall as their head is, but if they like were to lay flat, their back is probably like if you were crouched.
yeah, but they can't.
It would
like,
probably be similar.
curl.
Magic,
Deer
guys.
are a
Magic.
lot bigger than
They made
magic
it work.
there.
Dear Joe.
But like, can we know like the dimensions of the hole?
Tell us everything.
Yeah.
So Remus said, under their influence, I became less dangerous. My body was still wolfish, but my mind seemed to become less so while I was with them. So that had to be like really nice.
He
for
probably
him.
hated summer.
Oh God, yeah. I can't even imagine. Like after fifth year, they have a full year of him feeling better, and then that first summer of not being with them again. That would suck. So Sirius
We
starts
don't know. They
getting.
might have hung out.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know.
Wait,
if
don't they say who hung out at the Potters?
Sirius.
Sirius, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if Remus's parents would be like, yeah, go down in the cellar with them. It's cool.
Right.
They'd probably be like, well, wait a minute, you're a what?
Wait, hold on.
You're a wizard.
Plus, Remus's dad worked for the ministry, so they probably wouldn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
tell him.
Yeah, but if you have a werewolf as a son, I don't think you're judging people too hard or telling on people.
True. So Sirius starts getting impatient, tells Remus to hurry up. He's still watching Scabbers with a horrible sort of hunger on his face. So he's still got that one-track mind, just wants to kill him. So now that they could all transform, there was highly exciting possibilities open to them. They were soon leaving the shack, roaming the grounds and the village at night. Sirius and James were so large they could keep a werewolf in check. And Remus says, I doubt whether any Hogwarts student ever found out more about the Hogwarts grounds and Hogsmeade than we did, and that's how we came to write the Marauders map. And this is where my life changed. And sign it with our nicknames. Sirius is Padfoot, Peter is Wormtail, James was, that's so sad, Prongs.
Oh.
Was. I
Yeah.
caught that this time and had feels.
Yeah.
So Harry starts asking, well, what sort of animal?
Dad was he?
Good dad.
Was my dad a good dad?
He's a dead one.
Oh, what sort of animal? But then Hermione cuts him off and she's like, that's still really dangerous running around the dark with a werewolf. What if you'd given the others the slip and bitten somebody?
Yeah. She would bring that up.
So it was a thought that still haunted Remus, and he says that there were many near misses, but they just laughed about him afterwards. They were young, they were thoughtless, they were just carried away with their own cleverness.
Maybe those were the near misses, getting into the tunnel every time.
Yeah, it was all with James.
Because you have to think about how big Remus would get.
yeah.
And if he was like, if wait, isn't he already in there? Madame
so they
Pomfrey is
have to
in there.
come-
So maybe once they get inside the lower level, then they transform. But then you've got like a stag walking up the steps. It all is very weird to think about.
Yeah, but they would exit
But what if
the Whomping Willow while he
with
was
him?
transformed.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah,
It's all just.
it's weird.
I need to see it canon form.
I need to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah.
A billywig.
Yeah.
Good one.
Okay. So Remus basically tells them how he has a lot of guilt from like those school days for all that they did. And he feels guilty for betraying Dumbledore's trust because Dumbledore has done so much for Lupin, getting him back, getting him to Hogwarts when no other headmaster would have. And he had no idea that Lupin and co. were breaking all of the rules. He never knew I had led 3 fellow students into becoming animagi illegally. I don't know, I just said it like that. But I always managed to forget my guilty feelings every time we sat down to plan our next month's adventure, and I haven't changed. And I said, he may be the reason they became animagi, but they like chose to do that for their friend.
Yeah.
So, like, it just shows you.
Yeah, but Lupin's going to take that on. 'Cause
Correct.
That's how he is.
Correct.
Yep.
So I said he shouldn't feel guilty, but alas, that's his personality. So the entire year that Sirius had been trying to get after Harry, but really Peter, Remus was battling with himself on whether or not he should tell Dumbledore that Sirius is an animagus.
We're messing you up.
And there are secret passages into the castle, and he would that he knew about, and that Sirius would also know about. Ultimately, he decided not to tell him because it would mean that he would then have to admit to all the things that they did when they were younger, breaking all the rules, all that stuff. And Lupin doesn't want Dumbledore to look at him differently. Dumbledore's trust of him means everything to him. He says, he let me into Hogwarts as a boy, and he gave me a job when I had been shunned all my adult life, unable to find paid work because of what I am. And I was so convinced myself that Sirius was getting into the school using dark arts he learned from Voldemort, that being an animagus had nothing to do with it. So in a way, Snape's been right about me all along. Since Sirius finally takes his eyes off of Scabbers to look at Lupin, and he's surprised with the mention of Snape and asks what he has to do with it. And Lupin lets Sirius know that Snape is a teacher at Hogwarts, and that he tells the trio how Snape went to school with them, and he also fought very hard against Lupin working at Hogwarts. He had been telling Dumbledore for a long time that Lupin was not to be trusted. And Snape has his reasons not to trust Lupin and friends because a trick that Sirius played on him in school that almost got him killed, and it involved Lupin. And so Sirius makes a noise and sneered, saying, it served him right, sneaking around, trying to find out what we were up to, hoping he would get us expelled. And I mean, like,
No.
that's just a tad extreme.
Yeah. That doesn't.
Because,
Trying to kill someone because you're sneaking out of the castle.
yeah,
Hard
like
no.
being expelled versus literally dying. Like, not about that life.
Yeah.
As in, like this is where I should have had reservations about Sirius, but then like he just became so cool that I was just like, oh, it's Sirius.
Yeah.
But now
he
reading it
masks
as an
very
adult,
well. Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
it as an adult, I'm like, Sirius, you're kind of a jerk sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Snape was very interested in where Lupin went every month. They were all in the same year at Hogwarts, and as we know, the Marauders did not get along with Snape, to say the least. And Lupin says that Snape may have been jealous of James with like his Quidditch stardom and all that stuff.
And Lily.
So one night, Snape saw Lupin crossing the grounds with Madame Pomfrey towards the Whomping Willow so he could go to the Shrieking Shed to transform. He doesn't know this, though. And Sirius thought it would be amusing to tell Snape about the knot on the tree so he could make the Whomping Willow stomp whomping so he could see what Lupin was up to.
How do you think that conversation went? Because these two people hate each other.
I thought of that this time too.
So, like, where are you talking? How did it...
Why would Snape trust anything Sirius said? Why would he be like, well, okay, I'll go look?
Well, he's a kid.
I know, but he hates this guy. Wouldn't he be like, maybe he's trying to pull something on me? I don't know.
I don't know.
It
Unless
is
he was
weird.
just so eager to know.
I want to know how the conversation even started. Like, if that's all I know, cool.
Yeah, like what would make Snape be like, oh, I'm going to let him approach me and talk to me about this, you know?
I wonder if
normally Snape...
Maybe they were taunting each other.
Or like in class, and Sirius was like talking about it, and he like on purpose made
said
Snape
it to
overhear.
James to overhear
Yeah.
or something, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, of course, Snape tried it. And had he gotten to the house, he would have met a fully grown werewolf. But James had heard what Sirius had done. So I'm betting Sirius was probably bragging about it. Being like, I got him
Yeah,
to go touch
bet it was in the
knob.
common room. Yep.
So then James went after Snape and pulled him back at great risk to his life. But Snape did get a peek at what Lupin really was.
God, he
So-
got far.
That's really close.
Yeah. So Dumbledore made sure that Snape couldn't tell anyone. He literally says in the book he was forbidden to speak about it. But from then on, he knew what Lupin was. So Harry's then like, whoa, so that's why that dude hates you. And I said, that's not the only reason, Harry. Not
Yeah.
the only reason.
Yeah.
Then a cold voice sneered behind Lupin. That's right. Professor... blah, 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 blah. So Severus Snape, the eavesdropper, pulled off the invisibility cloak and he had his wand pointed at Lupin.
Every time I read this, it's like the first time, and I'm like, "Ee!"
And you can't stop reading.
Yes,
Yeah.
every time.
Like this is the second chapter in a row where it's like you got to roll to the next one.
You can't.
And that's why when I was texting you, however long ago I finished this book, I couldn't stop reading, and and I wanted to get all my notes done so I could start Goblet. And Goblet, you guys, it's so much better than I remember it to be.
Yeah.
It's
I'm kind of
so
excited
good.
to feel that way because I haven't in a long time.
Oh,
about
you're
it.
you're gonna
already-
love it.
oops, sorry, somebody asked us on Instagram, what book would you leave behind? You were the only one that said Goblet.
Yep.
And I'm really
I think
curious.
do we
to
all
see
say
if your-
Chamber?
Yeah.
But I
I'm
was the only
curious to
one.
see if your answer will change after reading it again.
bet it
I'll be
Because-
honest. I'm walking into it with an open mind. I promise. I
Yeah.
promise.
Because do you remember the last time you read it?
No, because I always
It's been
I'm
a
like, I'm gonna
long
do a
time.
reread. I
And I
always
stop
get
after
through
Prisoner.
to Prisoner, and then
Yeah.
I stop.
Well, not today.
Not today. Not this time.
And I will say, anytime I did reread Goblet, I skipped the first chapter.
God, you gotta.
We're not this time.
Don't look at
This
me.
is where
I
we
always read
realize
the last
that
chapter at least twice.
Harry's a seer. This is where you can get a big
Yeah.
chunk of that.
I had
Read
the
it.
in-depth conversation with you
I will
about
read
that.
it this time, but I'm just saying normally I would skip it.
Yeah, well,
I find it
Normal is
boring.
out the window.
All right, lightning bolt round question.
I have one. At what point would you start to believe Lupin?
Immediately.
When I'd see the transformation,
Really? So at this point, you still wouldn't believe
I
him?
need to see it.
I'd have doubts, reservations, as one would say.
I'd have to
The
see
proof
it,
in the pudding, right?
but I would definitely give room for explanation, just like Harry did.
Yeah.
I think I would have believed him after he said that they were Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, and they wrote the Marauders map. Because
Yeah,
he said
that's
the
fair.
map never lies, and like he would know that because he wrote it.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, but he could.
I don't even
mean-
know if I believe that the map never lies. Like, I feel like that's like a very hard statement to say. Like, something's perfect, the map never lies.
Right.
I'm like,
But it doesn't lie.
yeah, but how come no one, his brothers didn't notice that Peter Pettigrew was sleeping with Ron?
Because they're non-judgmental.
But like, where is he then?
Yeah.
Well, Pete, yeah, I don't know.
we have no answer for that.
Dear Joe.
Yeah, honestly though.
I feel like that was answered somewhere, but I can't remember what the answer was.
I don't remember.
Well, if you find it, let us know. What
Plot
other
hole.
questions do we have?
Do you
I know I
really
asked a
think that
couple.
Dumbledore was completely blinded to all of the things they did when they were in school?
No,
That's a really good question.
no.
I don't know.
I don't think he knows everything, but I think he knew that
Like, I don't think he's dumb. You know what I mean?
But I think,
but think about all the things that he does know, and you're like, Dumbledore knows everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
do you really think he knew that they were animagi?
Well, see, Dumbledore knows like when Harry went and found the Mirror of Erised.
Yeah.
There's no reason for Dumbledore to know that Harry was walking around and saw the Mirror of Erised. He found that out. I can see
but,
him
like,
seeing something like this. But
Dumbledore.
I
I don't
know.
think Dumbledore knew that Sirius was innocent. I mean, he was scared
he didn't.
whenever
No,
he.
he didn't.
So, like,
No,
if
but-
he knew that they were animagi, I'm sure he would have said something.
Yeah, but you have to think like this is his school. He's got a werewolf under the roof. He's got Madame Pomfrey taking care of him, right? I'm thinking he's probably going to be peeping in a little window, watching stuff go down. You know?
Yeah.
He's not just going to every month he's like, "Okay, cool, Madame Pomfrey, I'll see you. Thanks for the earmuffs." And not chuck up on his little werewolf pup. I don't know. What do you call him?
I don't think he knows about the invisibility cloak yet. I think that's a James secret still, because James gives it to him later. So that's up
you
to
mean when they
theirs.
were at school?
Yeah, so that's something they have.
When
going
did
for them.
James's dad pass away to pass it down, or did he pass it down before?
Probably passed it down before because he was still alive pre-Harry being born, but like post them, I believe, graduating Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So he probably gave it to him when he was like young.
and
they
then
know
James
had it at
didn't
school.
give it to Albus until like right before they went into hiding, right?
Now, did they know? I'm so off. Did they know there was a Hallow?
I think that he had
suspicion.
it was.
I know Dumble did.
Right. Oh yeah, I know about
I'm talking about the Potters.
James.
His dad,
Probably
whatever.
not.
I kind of want to say yes.
Because then you have to go to, they believe in the
Because, like,
Deathly
Harry-
Hallows in their entirety.
Right. Because like obviously Harry wouldn't know because James would have never had the opportunity to tell him.
I mean, they knew it was something
But-
special because of how many years it's been around and been passed down, and,
And how
it's still
good condition it is.
correct. Yeah.
I think that I mean that's me. I think that they would know about it because like I would think that you would know your ancestry line.
I mean, I don't doubt that they knew that they were part of the Peveril family, but do they believe the story that goes with them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a little bit off topic, but there's a theory that with the map only shows the name of the anime guy when the user knows that the person is an anime guy. So that makes
Oh,
sense.
that's a good theory.
So it would have just said Scabbers to James.
But
to
or
But it says-
anything does it show animals?
Firstly-
did it show Mrs. Norris?
Yeah.
It
Well,
does.
it does, it does at least.
Because what do you see every kid's animal?
Oh, true.
I don't know if that's a movieism or not.
Okay.
Do you want me to read what else they said in this, or do you want to talk?
Is it a movieism that Harry sees Peter on the map?
Yes.
That's a movieism.
Isn't it?
In the middle of
And
it.
but
Yeah.
We just read this book.
No,
It
yeah,
is.
yes,
It
yes.
is.
But
Yes,
oh my
it's the movie-
god.
yes, it's the movieism that he sees it on the map.
Yes.
In the book, Peter
Lupin.
Lupin is the one that sees it.
God, I never realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is what it says. Firstly, nobody except Professor Lupin can see Pettigrew and Sirius on the map in the Prisoner of Azkaban. And it says, before you say yes, we're strictly talking about the books, not the film. Why? Because he'd seen the pair transform into their animals many times before. And then Snape travels to the Shrieking Shack at the end of the book 3 because he sees Lupin and Sirius on the map. Both were in human form at the time. So he doesn't see Pettigrew because Pettigrew was still Scabbers.
That makes sense.
And
I
then
love it.
says
So
their
good.
Yeah,
third
that fits.
point is Rita Skeeter in Goblet of Fire. Her animagus is never spotted on the map by Harry. Why? Because Harry
he
didn't
doesn't
know that she was an anime guy.
I love it.
Yes. Thank you.
Fits.
And that's from
Headcanon.
Reddit. It's from Reddit.
Thank you, Reddit person.
Theorist. A weird name that I can't spell.
What does it start with? Just give us the first letter.
ANURAGKADIYALA.
Thank you,
Thank
DIY. Theory is DIY.
Well, that theory fits, and I like it.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
down
going to
with that.
copy this article from Radio Times.
I
I'm
got
gonna post it.
sweaty.
So sweaty. I love it. All right. Any more questions? I
what
asked
would
a few
you
throughout. So.
want to turn into?
Dog. I say it every time. Fozzie Bear. I want to
Something
be
that could
Fozzie
fly,
Bear.
like an
That's
eagle.
very
It's
rare.
really hard.
Fly
or rare.
like an eagle.
To the sea.
I feel like I would turn into a dog, but I'd want to be a cat.
Why would you think that you would be a dog?
I just feel my personality's more doggish than
What
cattish.
breed?
Because you're loyal. Cats
Yeah.
are loyal.
That's true.
You're being generous.
My cats are loyal.
Most
Yeah.
cats are not, though.
But my little kitty is.
That's
Teddy
not how
is
you say
loyal.
Allah.
I
It's two
figured I
different
spelled
words.
it wrong.
It's ah and then la mode.
Got it. I will
And I
fix
believe the first A has an accent, but I don't know which accent it is.
it. I will look it up.
All right, what breed of dog are you?
I don't know.
Can we give her a breed?
Yeah,
What
give
breed
me
do
a
you
breed.
think Katie would be?
A Labrador.
A lab? A little labby?
No, they're very energetic. You don't seem like someone that has a lot of energy all the time.
Oh, hold on.
I can, but yeah, not all the time.
I feel now it doesn't match your size, but
A Great Dane.
a Great Dane. Sweet, because
And dogs.
they will be energetic and they have like their little like spurts, but then on the whole, they just like to lounge.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Taylor Swift's parents have a Great Dane. Its name is Kitty.
That was your I got a girlfriend moment.
Yeah, it's really cute.
No, I like those dogs.
I don't know
I
what
wanted
would.
a Great Dane for a long time. It's a great dog to have. Like, I mean, you probably can't have it in an apartment because they're very big.
They're very big.
You can't take them on like super long walks.
Yeah.
And, like, because they have joint issues and heart problems.
I'm gonna get a mandrake
don't let
leaf
her in.
and I'm gonna do the thing, and then I'll be your part-time Great Dane.
Okay.
She
I
likes
don't know
pet.
what I would be. I think I'd like to be a fox, but you can't match your Patronus, right? It doesn't. It
has to
usually,
be-
because it usually doesn't match your Patronus.
Right.
I think it's
Oh wait, no, but
personality.
hold on.
I think it depends.
What does it say?
It can match your Patronus,
At the top,
I
of
think-
this
but it doesn't
article,
always,
says,
I think, is how they say it.
rather like Patronuses, the creature they become cannot be chosen, but reflects an aspect of their personality.
I think I had something too, but continue.
I don't know what
One
I
of
would
those Siamese cats.
be. Me?
Yeah.
Am I talkative?
If you please.
Siamese cats are very talkative.
You know, I feel like you're a little bit sassy, but you still like to snug the people you love.
So you're comparing me to the cats in Lady and the Tramp?
Yeah. Evil.
Your
No,
animagus and Patronus animals can be the same.
That's pretty cool.
They may not be though.
Okay.
Because what if you become an animagus at a different part in your life that you learn a Patronus and your personality may have changed by then? You know?
We know that your Patronus can change.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think your animagus
no.
one can.
No.
No, I don't
But
think
your
it changes.
Patronus can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it could be different.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
So maybe it was the same in the beginning, and then later in life it changes.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up what you're throwing down. All right. Any more questions?
I don't think so. It's a
All right.
short chapter.
Let's roll on through this because I got my
I'm going to say
Broncos to
something
watch.
that's kind of controversial. I'm ready for us to be done with this book. I'm ready for Goblet.
I'm not. I like
This is
this
where
book.
I love to live, right here.
I'm excited to get it done. I'm not gonna lie because I'm ready for Goblet. I'm ready to get. I'm ready. This makes me sound like a terrible person. I'm ready to get dark. I'm ready.
I am
I'm ready to
too,
get dark.
yeah.
I'm ready to get seedy.
But
I'm
this
ready to
starts to get dark.
yeah, this is where
I want
it
to get
starts.
gross.
The
I
end
will
of.
say-
I love the end of this book.
Goblet
So-
is going to take us a long time, and I'm going to get over that real quick, too. Not real quick, but I'm going to be over way before we, finish it.
Well, you like chasing
It's going
stuff
to take
up
us.
Boston.
It's going to take us into July, probably August of next year.
Yeah.
It's going to take almost a
time.
year,
Long time.
which means Order will take a year probably.
Oh yeah.
What's the biggest book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I love this next listener coming up. We've gotten to know her quite well.
Yes. So this fan story comes from Stefrana.
Stefrana. When you get married, I'm still going to call you Stefrana.
Yeah, I cannot call you anything else.
She joined us for
Remus.
Remus's character analysis on the Felix Files. So if you'd like to hear some more from Stefrana, check that out. So she says, "Hello, ladies. I've been a loyal listener for a whole year now, so I guess this is a good time to finally share my Potter story. My initial foray into the Potterverse was when I was 9 years old. The first movie was released that year, and I decided to read the first book before I went to see it. Smart,
She's a
because
little
I
younger
didn't
than
do
me.
that. Being in 4th grade, it was a year or two above my reading level, so my teacher told my parents that it was too difficult and I shouldn't have been reading it. My parents had
Boo
some...
on that teacher.
Yes. My parents had some choice words for her and encouraged me to read whatever I wanted.
Yes.
With my parents' support, I devoured books 1 through 4, and from that moment on, I was completely enamored with the wizarding world. When Deathly Hallows was published 6 years later, I spent the better part of a day locked in my room reading, and I sobbed so hard when it was over.
Same.
I never picked up the books again after that because I didn't want to lose the feeling that they gave me the first time, so I spent the next 8 years watching the movies on pretty much a constant loop. It wasn't until probably my 50th rewatch of Half-Blood Prince that I realized I was so saturated with the movies that I couldn't remember most of the major plot points that the movies left out. I totally understand.
I did the same thing.
So I asked my now fiance for a new set of books for Christmas. That first reread felt nearly as magical as it did 14 years earlier when I first picked up Sorcerer's Stone. I was halfway through my first year of grad school, and at this point, these wonderful books helped me through a really difficult adjustment period. Better yet, that reread set me up to eventually find all of you amazing people. I found Swish and Flick purely by chance, and since then, my love for this series has increased exponentially. This series has done more for me as an adult than it ever did for me as a kid. I'm much more confident being who I am, and it's brought me into a world full of awesome, like-minded Potterheads who always have my back. If someone had told little 9-year-old me that one day I would have friends halfway across the country and on the other side of the world because of Harry Potter, I would have thought they'd been confounded. Much love to my Swisher fan, Stefrana.
Thank you, Stefrana.
Some parts of that literally gave me chills.
I love it.
I'm trying not to cry because it's so good.
It was really well, yeah.
It really reminds me of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't just read them once and set them down. Like, I did do multiple rereads, but I did saturate the heck out of myself with the movies.
Yeah.
And when we got together to talk Sorcerers that first time, it had been the first reread I had started in a while. And reading just the first one again was just kind of like, this is magical.
Here it is.
Like, it's
home.
Yeah. So I get it, because I was like, oh my gosh. And then, like, the more we would talk about it, I'd be like, is that a movieism or is that in the book? And I'm like, I need to stop. I want to read them more.
It just happened to me now. I did not realize that in the book, Harry does not see Peter Pettigrew. Hello.
No, he doesn't.
As much as I love Dan and Emma and Rupert.
There's nothing like, the original.
I also wish that I would have done what she did and read the first book before I saw the movie, because then I would have had like my own ideas of what they looked like. But to me, Hermione's always been Emma, Ron has always been Rupert, and Harry has always been Dan.
However,
I think I read it before I saw it, but I don't remember
what the
I remember
characters
I pronounced Hermione incorrectly.
Hermione.
I think I said Hermione or something like that in my head, and then you hear it on screen, and I was like, oops. Oh. But as far as they looked, I'm not sure, because you do get the pictures in your head of what things should look like and be. And then when you see them on screen and you go back and read it, then you'll picture what you see on the screen. But
I mean, I did get to experience the whole like picturing characters in the later books.
Right. I was going to say
but
that.
like I just, with the trio, like I wish I would have had a chance to picture them in my head.
Yeah.
But
alas.
that's okay.
Side note, I actually really like a lot of fan art has Harry with like a darker skin tone. I actually really like it a lot.
Can we post
Have
some
you seen
of that?
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
I really like it.
I've seen Hermione.
Well,
Yeah, I like Hermione
It's
like that
headcanon.
too.
Not headcanon, but like, well, she hasn't said either way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you should picture him however you want to picture him.
Yeah, because I read all the books that I think 4 were out before the first movie came out, and I read all of them before I watched the movie.
Did you love that Hermione had curly hair?
In the books, I did not like her hair in the movie because that was not good.
In the books,
one
yes.
was
When you
good.
read it,
No, it wasn't. That is not curly hair.
It's bushy.
it's bushy.
All she says in the book is bushy.
Yeah,
not
but
curly.
like there's a difference between like the stuff that they did to her hair and like actual like you can tell like that's a fake bushy hair. Like no.
We've talked about this so much. But in the books,
I
in the
enjoyed
books,
that she
did you
had-
like hearing that she had big curly hair like you?
Yes.
See, I love when you can see a bit of you in a character, and that's when you can
Well-
really develop a love of reading.
That's what's good about her describing Hermione. She kind of leaves it up to you to is she like what color is she? Her skin
Is
tone?
she
'Cause she
me?
never really
You
talks
know?
about it. Like all you hear is she's got big teeth, brown eyes, and bushy hair. And who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it.
that
I like
too.
hearing something different from the norm because it makes you think. And you're like, well, why? What doesn't matter?
Why
You know?
can't I have it this way?
Yeah.
I can't wait to
See
see
it however you
Cursed
want.
Child
Yeah.
with like that image of Hermione.
Yes.
So
I agree.
All right. Are there any more questions, or are we going to move to our social media blip?
Media.
So we can be found on all of the different social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, we're Swish and Flick Podcast, or on Twitter and Instagram at Swish Flickcast. You can also find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. I actually just uploaded, well, this will have been a week ago, but I uploaded our beautiful video made by our Swisher fam to our YouTube page so that you can easily find it. If anybody who doesn't have Facebook, who hasn't seen the video yet, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see the amazing anniversary video that our fans made for us, and it is amazing. So
Yes.
it's on our YouTube page now. Check it out. You can find us on Patreon for exclusive access to the Felix Files and also a chance to be a guest on the Felix Files at patreon.com/swishflickcast. Thank you to all of our patrons. We love and appreciate all of you. Also, a huge round of patron packages just went out, so be on the lookout for them in the mail. You will get your purple envelope.
That deserved a double bow.
A bubble bow.
Bubble bow.
And lastly, all of this information and more can be found on our website, swishflickcast.com. You can find also all of our merchandise.
Yeah.
Everyone looks good in Swish swag.
Everyone. I love my Swish swag. I wear it proudly. Yes. All right.
So, other projects that you can find Katie and I on are Grown Up Kids, a Disney podcast. We're doing a rewatch or a first watch of all of the Disney films in chronological order. We just did Lady and the Tramp this weekend. Yes. So, go find that and listen to it if you like Lady and the Tramp. It was a doggone good time.
What does she say? He's a tramp, but they love him.
No. Yeah, and if you want some other cool swag, head on over to Accio Designs on Etsy. Pick up some Potter posters.
And handmade knitted house scarves and blankets.
Yeah, it's getting a little chillier out. It is today. It's rainy and cruddy outside.
It
So
is.
you want to prep for that winter coming up.
Prepare for Hurricane Florence.
I mean, by
She's
the time
here.
you listen to it, it'll be gone.
She better be gone.
This is her right here. All this rain.
Yeah, Florence.
Oh, Florence.
Not you, Florence.
What does she
The other
have to
Florence.
say about the hurricane?
I have nothing to say about the hurricane. How would you say that? How would you say, what did, I don't associate with the hurricane. We're not the same.
All right.
I take no responsibility for it.
Good.
Stay innocent. Stay innocent. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice! I just wanted to pull up. I was gonna, here they are. We'll talk a little bit about Ugadu. Ugadu. How do you pronounce the
Ouagadou.
Ugadu?
I don't know.
The school?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish that she put like a phonetic spelling.
Yeah.
Ouagadou.
Is there?
Or it's probably like Wagadoo or something. You know what I mean?
But it's Wagadoo. There. She has a phonetic spelling on
Does
the
she?
article for
It's
it.
Wagadoo.
Wagadoo.
Or Wagadoo.
I think Wagadoo would be W-H-A, right?
Yeah, so Wagadoo.
So Wagadoo.
Yes.
Wagadoo.
Wagadoo. How about you?
Wagadoo, wagadoo.